Good morning.
Kevin.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Very good. First of all, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me, and thank you very much.
Sure, no problem. So before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in and go through a couple of formalities. So do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. And then just for the record, if you could just state your name and your property address for us.
My name is Donald F. Bovee, Jr. I live at 38 Valley Brook Road, Penfield.
Okay, great. And just so that we're all working off the same information, the information we have in front of us right now is that the town has you assessed at $169,000, and you think that should be reduced down to $150,000. Is that correct?
In my estimate, with the amount of work that I need to do to my house, I think my house is worth about $150,000 right now.
Okay. All right. So obviously we don't have a whole lot of time. We only got about 5 minutes for the time that we're going to have today. So I guess this is your opportunity to tell us about your house, the condition it's in, and why you think you've come to that conclusion that it's worth $150,000.
Okay. First of all, my house, my house is clean and it's painted. But I do need siding. I do need windows. I need gutters. And then I have masonry steps. I have a walkout basement that is disintegrating in the back that I plan on doing this year. I need a new driveway. I need a new furnace. I have the original bathroom and the original kitchen. There is a couple storm doors I've got to change. But yes, I'm going back to the, I have an example on 14 Valley Brook. 14 Valley Brook is completely redone. It has new siding, it has new windows, new roof. It has a custom stamped front patio they added on as you enter in the house, and then they've got outdoor furniture, very, very elegant. They've got new vinyl fencing. They got new garage door, and their assessment is $171. It's exactly the same type of house as me, but I don't have any of those features. I thought I would be in better shape than I am right now, but for the last 3 years I've been suffering from cancer. I hope to beat the cancer, and I do hope to make some improvements on my house. But right now, that's my priority, is try to beat the cancer.
As it should be.
Yep.
Other than that, I love the town of Penfield. I've been here 36 years. My wife is retired. I'll be retiring very soon. I'll be on a fixed income. But I do, once I retire, I've got a plan on making these improvements that I need done to my house. Like I said, the house is clean looking. I keep the lawn mowed. It's painted, but it does need some work.
Okay. Well, we can certainly take that under advisement. Did anybody got any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Not for me.
Okay, great. So the way this will work is, we'll obviously take everything that we've learned here today into account and make our deliberations and come to a conclusion. We will get back to the town, and the town will get back to you probably in a couple of weeks.
Okay. I thank you very much for listening to me today, and I just have a great day.
Great. Thank you very much. You do the same.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Your next one's ready. Go ahead.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you today?
Yeah, hanging in there.
Oh, that's good. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just swear you in. So do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. So then just for the record, if you could just state your name and your property address for us.
All right, that's Roger Broomfield. It's 1885 Jackson Road.
Okay. All right, and so the information that we've got in front of us is that the town has you currently assessed at $212,000, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $185,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, 185, 109, because there's no way. I got the inside ceiling and all downstairs has got to be resprayed. It's popcorn. My roof leak. I had to put a new roof on. There's a lot of stuff, My wife has been. They took her out. Here, the rug is all shot downstairs. They took her out by ambulance 3 times to Rochester General. She finally wound up having to have a pacemaker. There's no way this house is worth that much money.
Okay. So you started to tell us a little bit about the condition of your house. Did you have anything more that you wanted to add to that, or just to give us a flavor so we understand what the condition of the house is when we look over the information and try to make a decision here?
Okay. There's no formal. You got all that non-formal eat in the kitchen. No walk-in closets. The vinyl floor is shot, totally shot. I got it covered up with rugs. That's the only way. The washer downstairs, an old one who drains in an old steel tub that's all freaking rusted up. The side boards and the side door of the garage is warped. It won't even open. Both bathrooms the half bathroom are small. There's rotten boards that need replaced, and the deck needs restaining. Traffic is unreal around here. Daycare's next door. The church is next door. The senior home is next to the daycare. The school bus is going crazy all day long. From 7 o'clock to 9:30, from a little after 2 to 4:30. Garbage trucks going crazy. Lilac, Dependable, Civic Waste Management. One, because they send it twice a day. One's for the garbage, one for the recycle. They're still working on Stafford Park. They built a huge house, that's double wide down there. Dump trucks going all over the place, bringing crushed stone stuff. There's a Penfield Country Club less than a half mile away. Everybody knows this is the back way. The Penfield Country Club, so they cut through here. Scout troops next door. They meet once or twice a week. Parking lot's full. There's so many developments around here between Burn Circle, Square Circle, several more. The air conditioner's 23 years old. The carpet's 23 years old, and with them taking her out, the ambulance don't take it with a stretcher 3 times, as a matter of fact, to Rochester General. And that carpet's shot and then some.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of information for us to take into account, so that's good. So I think we probably have everything we need at this point. So I think what happens now is that we'll deliberate, we'll come to a conclusion and get back to the town, and then the town will reach out to you via a letter in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I'll hear something in a couple of weeks from the town, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Your Harris Road is on the phone. Ready to go.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Who am I speaking with?
This is Kevin Kane.
Hi, Kevin. This is Andy Hill.
Hi, Andy, how are you? All right.
Thank you.
So before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. I know you just kind of gave us your name, but if you, just for the record, just kind of, again, state your name and your property address.
Andrew M. Hill, 1375 Harris Road, Webster, New York.
The address is 1375?
That's my residence.
That's your
I own
residence,
two
sorry.
pieces of property.
Okay, yep, I got you. So we're going to be talking about 1369 Harris Road, right?
Well, I actually own two pieces, one on either side. I did present a packet to protest both of them, 1369 and 1379.
All right. Do we have any information on the other one? Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about all of those. Let me just, I guess we'll start with 1369.
Okay.
Right now, the town, the information we're showing is the town has it assessed at $44,300, and you're looking for
Correct.
that to be reduced to, call it $5,800, $5,790.
Okay.
Does that sound correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you wanted to maybe tell us a little bit about that piece of property and kind of where how you got to that conclusion.
Okay. It is a vacant lot with no improvements whatsoever, and based upon comps in the area, a piece of property that touches two of my pieces of property was sold less than a year ago, or a little bit more than a year ago, with 3.8 acres was sold for $11,000. But somehow that never made it on the comp list because I was told, oh, that was an estate sale. Well, it certainly made it into Zillow, and everybody else knows what it sold for. And vacant land that has standing water and that was designated a federal wetlands is not worth $44,000 an acre. That's my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, we can take a look at that and go through the information that we've got, and we can kind of make our decision on that.
Okay.
So, and you said you had another property that you wanted to talk about. 13. I'm sorry. Would you say 79?
Correct.
All right. Now
That one.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, just so you're aware, we unfortunately don't have your paperwork in front of us for that property, but if you wanted to tell us a little bit about that one, we can certainly take a look into it. Do you have?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hold on one second. Sorry.
We just grabbed it. Hold on a second.
Looks like it was tucked away underneath some other property information. Okay. All right, so then this is another property, vacant land, currently assessed at $22,700, and you're suggesting it's about $6,400 or less.
Right.
All right, so tell us about this property then.
That property is to the south of me. It borders my property, my residence, and I think it still is designated as a federal wetlands. There is no way that is ever going to be able to be perk tested or any other thing to make it into a building lot. So it's almost the identical size of 1369, yet it's assessed at 22.7, but the other one, somebody miraculously said that it was an approved building lot, which it's not, is assessed at 44. As a matter of fact, they put it up at 75,000, and so somebody said, well, we better drop it some, and they dropped it to 44. But it's still not right. We're talking about a decision that's going to cost me a lot of money for the rest of my life. So obviously I'm going to protest it and say, look, I think you better look at what's going on. Exact same size piece of property, touches mine, federal wetlands, 22.7. Exact same piece of property, touches mine on the other side, 44,000. Got to explain that one to me.
Do you know, sir, the entire lots in federal wetland or part of it, or aren't you sure?
It would be the west. What is it? It would be the southwest side of it. There's a creek that comes through Plank Road right there, and I would say probably half of the property is wetlands.
Okay, so it could be possible to potentially build on part of it then? Or did they tell you no, or are you not sure about that?
I am not sure. I wouldn't testify in court as to whether they told me or not, because I've owned it for like 30 years.
Okay.
So if you went on that property, you'd find out that you're not going to build there. You can't even walk through it. It's wet. If there's cattails growing somewhere, it's wet.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that all you got for everything then?
Other than the one thing that I really want to make sure people understand is that 1460 Plank Road, which borders two of my pieces of property, was on the market for a year for $38,000, and somebody tried to buy it, and then the town said, you're going to have to do X, and they go, it's not even worth that. It's going to cost me $100,000 before it even becomes a building lot. The deal fell through, and it finally sold for $11,000. So I still want to know why that didn't make it on the comp list, and when I said to the town, this is what I'm judging my assessment against, how could that have gotten left off? If I didn't happen to know the guy personally that bought it, I'd be barking up a tree. I'd be going against all the other ones that you did put in there as vacant land at $40,000 and $50,000, which is completely not my case. I'm not a building lot that is approved. The one lot was perked 3 times and it failed. Now, after a while, they're going to say, we're not going to perk this anymore, buddy.
Yep.
Okay.
I see your concerns. I'd like to answer that, but we can't. We don't work for the town. We're just a board that volunteers once a year, so couldn't answer that for you. Yep.
Okay.
But we'll take everything that you've given us, good information, and we'll get back to the town with the figure, and they'll get back to you within 2-3 weeks.
Couldn't ask for anything more than that. I appreciate the call.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy day to you guys.
Same to you. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
Yes, it is.
Great. So just for the record, if you could state your name, and I guess we have, you've got like 4 properties that you're here to talk to us about?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, so I guess we can kind of go through each property.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of my background. I've done tax cases like this since 1978. And so it's been about almost going on 44 years of this. Plus, I'm a retired real estate broker for 30-some years. Mm-hmm. So I've had, a little bit of experience in this for that. And the people that usually I represent are friends of mine, people that I've known for years, like the first one, George, I've known for 30 years. And these guys probably for about 10 to 15 years through my real estate ways and that. And so I go way back with these folks, from that standpoint. So I got a relationship with them.
Okay. So I guess which property would you like to start with?
I would like to go the one that I feel is so out of whack. So I like to do the one that's probably the biggest one that should be grieved is the one on Creek Street.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I don't have any comments from the assessor's office, but what I did was I submitted 6 comparable sales, and to get up to the $1 million mark, I had to use sales on Lake Ontario, and this is the first time in my career in real estate and doing taxes, and like I said, in 44 years, where the assessment increase was higher than the highest sale in Penfield. The highest sale in Penfield were 2 of them for about $710,000 because the ending period is July 1st, 2021. So I took sales prior to that, okay, July 1st, 2021, because that's how you got to do this. And the highest sales in the town were 2 of them at $700,000, and George and his wife were raised higher than the highest sale in the particular town, and that's very unusual. I've never seen that. So I presented 6, be that as it may, but I thought that was out of whack, so I presented 6 sales, and I did adjustments to my 44 years of experience, and you can see the sales that I used is on page 11. I numbered the pages, and page 24 and page 11. And then with these comparable sales I used, you got the pictures and the MLS numbers. So I supplied pictures of the MLS number and the pictures of the comps and the details of the comps. And I put those details on page 11 for sale 1, 2, and 3, and on page 24 for sale 4, 5, and 6. So it's very elaborate. And then I gave you a picture of the owner's house and a map and an overhead projection of this property. So you have an idea what it looks like overhead, and you have an idea of the inside what it looks like.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we got that.
And I made the adjustments. I made adjustments according to the footage, square footage lot, certain things that this property had that the other ones didn't. So I feel very fair adjustments, and I came at $1 million too. So the assessor is right. He needs an increase of $350,000, but not $800,000. And I feel that the comparable sales more than certainly bear me out.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 2 minutes.
Sure.
I've done this for so long. Just 2 minutes, guys. It's a straight story, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of information here, so we can take that under advisement, so that's good. Do you want to move on to the next property then, or?
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure that when we do this over the phone, I always like to do it person to person. I've never done this over the phone in my career, so this is a first. So I'll let that be it with it may, but I got 40-some pages for this property, and I've spent an awful lot of time on this, documenting on my belief on this. So please read it and look it over before you make a decision, okay?
Sure.
That's all I ask.
No, absolutely.
You got it. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions you have of me on this particular property?
Not me.
No questions.
No, nothing specific. It's obviously a very unique property.
Yes, very unique, but no way it could sell if it's in Los Angeles. Yeah, $1.6 million, $1.7 million, no problem, but not where it is. Not where it is. Okay.
Sure.
So that is that property. Now you're going to see my patterns pretty much the same. I draw comparable sales. I got pictures, and I do a pretty elaborate scheme on these properties as I'm going down the list. So the next one we're going to use is Dan Viola's property, okay? Dan Viola. And I'll give you the address on that. Just 1 second. Dan's property is located at number 65 Amatel Luster. If I can pronounce that road right, I'll be a genius. Amatel Luster.
Yep.
And when I put this, I tell them, I put the size of the house down, what type of house, how much garages, and that sort of thing. So I put a lot of it in the complaint form, so you're not looking at something blind. Hey, it's just a property. No, it's a brick frame colonial, 3,246 square feet, a 3.5 car garage, pie-shaped lot. Okay, pie-shaped lot with 2 sewer drains on the lot. You can't quite see it, but you have it. And then if you go down my list, I have a picture of the property on page 6, overhead. And then on page 7, I have 6 comparable sales. 6 comparable sales. And this starts with page 7. So you got the same thing that you had on George's property. You got the MLS numbers. You got the pictures. And then the next three batches of comparable sales on page 20, and after page 20, starting with 21, you got the pictures of the property and the MLS numbers on it. And then with my final conclusion, you can see my plus and minuses that I did on this.
Yep. Very much like the other one.
Yeah, it's a carbon copy. Mm-hmm. It's very consistent. It's like shopping at Wegmans. When you go in one Wegmans, you know where the meat is and the milk is, and the beer is, all right? You just know where it is because it's consistent in where it's located. When I do these appraisals and when I take them to state Supreme Court, I outline it exactly like this. Exactly. So it's consistent in how I do it, okay? Very consistent when I do it. So that is his particular property. What's unique about his property that you can't come up, he's got a pie-shaped lot. Pie-shaped lots, in my 30 years of real estate career, are not the most desirable lots because you don't have a backyard. That's number one. And number two, he's got two sewer drainage receptacles on his property. So that, kind of deters a little bit when it rains and all that rain is funneled into the storm sewer that he has on his property. Okay, it's not in the street, it's on his property. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that, okay?
Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect.
Okay. I could not, in my comps, deduct, add, or subtract on that. It's arbitrary, but I want to make sure that's another factor in how I came up with this valuation, okay? On some of these comparable sales, as you notice, some are out a year and a half, and I increased it over time. In other words, I gave a boost to the comparable sales over time. Try to be fair, because I'm trying to time these as they were sold on July 1st, 2021. You see where I'm coming from on that? Because that's the cutoff date, July 1st, 2021. That's the cutoff date. Some of these sales are a year earlier, so I make the adjustment as time goes on, they increased in value, okay?
Yep.
And you see the time adjustments that I used. And they're on the bottom, as you see, they're on the bottom line there. I use a time adjustment, and you see that in my notes. So I try to be really fair even with time adjustments, okay?
Yep.
So those are the 6 comps for his property. Any questions on his property, on Dan Viola's?
Not for me.
No, I don't think
questions.
Okay. And you got the subject's property, the overhead on that on page 6. So you got all that. And that's his, 2 minutes. And the narration is exactly like I did with George's property. Okay. The next one will be Dan's uncle. And Dan's uncle, Theodore, again, his property is worth just like Dan's property and just like George's property. His property is worth more than what the assessment was last year. No question about it. On his property, I had 3 sales. I didn't have the 6 that I had on the other 2 because he's got a ranch house. Not a lot of sales for ranches. There is a lot of sales for colonials, a lot of sales for contemporaries, that sort of thing in Penfield, but not for ranches. But I was able to get a sale right across the street, which I thought was unique. And you probably saw that there right across the street in the sale. I'll give you the page number on that. And my 3 comps are on page 10. And the one that sold right across the street is on sale 1. Okay, sale 1 was 54 Pine Brook. The subject's property is 45, so it's right across the street. You can hit it with a putter if you're golfing. It's right across the street, and that sold for $215. Now the comp, it sold in 2020, so I boosted up the time on it by 20%. In other words, the value of the property in Penfield was rising at that period, so I increased the value of that comp from the sale of $215 all the way up to $258, just to be fair with that. And I adjusted any time factors for any of my comps that were out more than a year from the 2021 July 1st date. You see how I did that? I try to be fair with that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You see how I got, if you look at sale 1, I got down there time, multiplied 20%.
Yep, we see that.
The increase. Okay?
Yep.
The other one, time, if it's 0, it's 0. If it's right on. The other one was another 20%. If it's out more than a year or a year and a half, I boosted it up, just to be fair with the town, because property values were rising in Penfield during that time. Okay? During that time.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on Pine Brook?
No questions.
No, I don't
me.
think so.
Okay. All right, let me shut this off. And now I'll take the last one, and that is John Collins. John Collins, basically the same idea. The town assessed him at 408. His old assessment was like at 275, and I got him at 375. I got him up pretty high. Okay, and and I used 6 sales of it, and as you can see, again, the same thing. When you go to my sheet of comps, I have a map of where he's located. Numbers, it's page 6, and then on the comps, I have when he bought the house back in 2016, for you guys to get a picture of what it looked like, okay? What it looked like in 2016 and what it looked like when he bought it. And I was in the house, so it's basically the same thing when he bought it for $250, okay? So what you see when he bought it on page 7 and the pictures on page 9 and 10 is what the house is, okay? So there's no surprises. It's what it is if you want to inspect it. And then I did the 6 comps. The first 3 comps are on page 10. Those 3 comps follow page 10. And they got the pictures in the MLS in there. And then I got another 6 comps. And I'll get the page number for you on that. That should be page 23. And then page 23. And on that page, on page 23, and then the 6 comps are following that. Or I'm sorry, the 3 comps are following that. So you got 40-some pages of pictures, of reference numbers, and you can see my adjustments. I adjusted for time, I adjusted for square footage, I adjusted for if you had a 3-car garage versus a 2-car garage. So I made some adjustments here, okay? This was not something random, where here's a sale, and no adjustments. I made quite a few on these, okay? Quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on my mythology or anything of that
Nope.
nature?
No, I think
Good job. Well
very
done.
consistent
job.
all the way across.
This is
Yep.
a good job.
Yep.
Just want to give consistency for when you, like I said, shopping at Wegmans, when you're going through these and you read it, and he's consistent on each of these pages and how he did it all on that one there. Can I ask you this? I know by law it's got to go in by July the 1st. When will we get a decision on this? Is it going to be July the 1st, or you got to have a couple more weeks?
Well,
We'll have a decision, but I'm
We'll
not
have a decision, by the time the town gets back. I mean, obviously the July 1st roll will be published. Is that
Yeah, the changes will be on the July 1st roll,
okay?
Okay.
even
All
though
right.
letters
I
may
wanna
go out a
thank-
few days later.
Right.
Yep.
That's fine. I want to thank you all for the job you do on it. It's not easy because you got to hear people like me spouting off, but I try to keep it short and sweet to the point, and not waste your time with a lot of BS. That's why I get straight to the point on this, and that's how my narration did it. And I want to thank you for your time, all of you. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
You did a great job. Thanks so much.
Thank you for all the
All
information.
right. Thank you. And the best of your families, okay? And the best of your families, guys, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Too bad. Beautiful day, huh?
It is, yes.
It's
All right. Well, welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, let me swear you in. So do you swear the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
yes.
Great. So just for the record then, if you could just state your name and the property address that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it's Eric Weinberg, and it's 9 Hawks Trail, West New York, 14580.
Okay, great. So just so we're working from the same information, the information we have in front of us is the town has you currently assessed at $322,000, and you're looking for that to be brought down to $236,000. Is that correct?
Or something less than what it was for sure. So do you want me to go through the?
Yeah, I was just going to say we do have the package of your application and the package of information you submitted, so we've got that in front of us.
Yep.
But this, since we only have about 5 minutes here, it's a good opportunity for you to kind of talk us through the condition of your house.
Yep.
And what do you want us to know about it as we look through all of this.
Yeah, correct. So just one thing initially, like with the initial 3 comps that were used, there's like one house that's literally like almost across the street that is definitely was a good comparison. The other 2 that they initially had selected to use were built like 10 years before ours, and then so they made like a big adjustment in the. Because they were 10 years older, they just it's like decreased the value of the houses because they're saying that like the 10-year difference made a difference in the selling price. And the reality is, houses that are built with kind of the same construction standards, that doesn't really have an impact. So I went out and looked for some better comps that were closer to the same age as my house, but also met the same criteria. Still used the same comp from 18 Hawks Trail, and then found the 2 others that got listed on. And then the other the other thing that obviously isn't taken into consideration when they do the initial assessment is condition of the properties. It's like with the 3 comps, it's like I went online and found info or called and talked to realtors that had listed those properties before and got information on them. And with all the properties that were up for sale, it's like all of them were upgraded. It's like new kitchens, new flooring, new bathrooms, and our house is 22 years old, and we've still got the same. It's like our kitchen floors are hardwoods that were in need of being refinished. We got original Formica countertops. We didn't have any granite countertops. We didn't have an updated bath. Also, the house is like 22 years old, so it's like our AC unit is living on borrowed time. That's like our HVAC tech has said he's trying to keep it going for another year or 2 because the prices on new units are ridiculously expensive now. And same thing with our furnace. We've learned that the unit that the builder put in is like oversized for the house and isn't, working properly with the house. So we need to replace that ASAP too. So really, what I did was went through and tried to do. As I got information on each of the houses for the different areas of the house. If you go through, when you go through the packet, wherever I could, I put pictures in. But got information on condition for different like the different areas, key different areas of the houses, and then tried to make adjustments based on it's like the condition of our house versus the condition of the 3 comps. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know in the initial assessment process, obviously, that it's like they can't take into account what the condition of the inside of the house is or whatever. They're just pulling numbers, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is all good information. So we can take this under advisement as we go through our process. And
okay.
so,
anything else that you need that I didn't provide there, or I tried to be.
No, yeah. No, you did well. Think we got all the information we need.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of went through it very detailed, which is good. That helps us keep it straightforward. So, like I said,
yeah, I mean, I know it's like, no, go ahead.
No, finish what you were going to say.
Oh no, I said I know a lot of people just call saying, "Oh, my assessment's too high." It's like, well, okay, why?
Right.
Yep. And the whole and one other thing too that people don't realize, it's like, yeah, everybody's assessment is going to be going up, but our initial assessment had gone up almost 60%, which it's like that's not realistic compared to what pretty much all the other houses in the town have gone up. I mean, I know they've gone up significantly, but it wasn't that much.
Yep.
So
sure.
We're good. Thanks so much.
So that's why
we unfortunately got to move on to the next person, but
okay. You guys probably, it's like getting tired of this at this point, huh?
But thanks so much. You gave us a lot of good information. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I guess we'll hear. When will we hear from you?
You'll get something in a couple weeks, probably within a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one. Yep. Bye now.
All right.
Read is ready.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you today?
Great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. So welcome to the...
I'm doing well as well. Kevin, we have you on the speakerphone at this end. My name is James. You've got the paperwork in front of you. I filed. My wife, Christine, is with me. Is it okay if we're on the speakerphone?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. We'll try not to talk over each other.
Yeah. So before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in. So do you swear the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
I do.
I do.
Great. And then again, just so we have it on record, if you could just, again, state your name and your property address.
My name is Christine Doyle, 3 Hidden Meadow, Penfield, New York.
James B. Doyle, III, 3 Hidden Meadow, Penfield, New York, 14526.
Okay, thank you very much. So right now, what we've got in front of us from information-wise is that the town has you assessed at $302,000, and you're looking for that to be reduced down to $232,000. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And as you did mention, we do have your application and the information you provided in front of us. But since we really only have about 5 minutes of time here, this is kind of your opportunity to highlight what you want to make sure we understand about your property, so that we are have that information when we're taking the information into account and making our decision.
Very good, Kevin. I think I'm going to let my wife go first, if that's okay with you.
That sounds great.
Kevin, what we looked at is the closest comparables in our own street of the properties, and there's a variation in the amount that the properties are assessed at, according to the paperwork. So my husband's idea was to take a average and look at the square footage cost per square foot. We have primarily a number of significant improvements or repairs to make on the property, and I think it's pretty clearly explained, so I don't need to review all of that. But if you have any questions, how we arrived at our numbers based on looking at the application, we'll be glad to answer those.
Mm-hmm. And my opening, as it were, if this is considered opening in just this 5-minute period, Kevin, would be that, quite frankly, we're not well connected with all our neighbors, so we're not sure who's done what in terms of repairs or updates. And we did give a specific listing, a rough estimate of what we thought needed to be done, and we do stand by that. And just for the record, we are sworn in here, and those repairs are all legit. We're all going to have to, Chris and I, are going to have to do something about them to do anything for the property to get the value up to what we think it is there. But we did make those adjustments. We don't know how we stand comparably to the people in the neighborhood, and we did not really go outside of Hidden Meadow. It's kind of a unique situation. It's a nice, quiet street, so we're trying to compare to the people as much as apples to apples. And I know you guys are facing apples and oranges and apples and grapes when you try to make sense of all of this, but we don't know what the other neighbors have done. We're going by just we see on the outside. Some people did windows, some people did roofs, etc. So we do stand by those estimates. And realistically, because as my wife said, we don't have hard and fast numbers. So you'll see that even though the number could be less, if we take, in a sense, every dollar that we estimate would be in our repairs, and we didn't take down to that number. We realized that there's got to be some fairness involved in here, and so the numbers don't come to the exact number like X minus Y equals Z, so it doesn't come right down to the 221 figure. We did put 232,000 on a number that would be what we would think is a fair number. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. Well, thank you for all that information. We will take that into account as we go through it. And what we do is we deliberate, and then we get our answer back to the town, and the town gets a letter back out to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. I think the one thing that I would like to just point out in closing is that it looks like it's about a 32% increase in the proposed movement from the 28 to the 302 that we've received from the town as the new amount. And the biggest comparables is our next door neighbor who's got more square footage at 295 and then 38 Hidden Meadow, which is at 248. And those have both, they were lower to begin with than ours, even though they're very comparable in size. And our nearest neighbor across the street and our next door neighbor have all done significant improvements. As Jim mentioned, we don't know the cost of that, but they definitely have done what we haven't done, which is replaced the windows, the roofs, and we noted that I think we're probably assessed as an operating pool, but the building department has been very patient in working with us and trying to give us some time to close in the in-ground pool, which is not operative, so that is not a bonus as far as the...
Very good. I apologize. We're running over now. We have to sort of move on to the next person. But
sounds good.
Thanks so much for everything. It was great information. Appreciate it.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Do the same.
Next caller is ready.
Okay.
All righty.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
First, I'd like to thank you guys for volunteering to do the assessment here and with the residents of Penfield.
Sure.
And,
no problem.
Have you had a chance to look over the 3 comps that I provided?
We did. So before we actually get started, though, let me just back up for 1 second and just go through a couple formalities. I do need to swear you in first. So do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. And then if you could just, for the record, state your name and the property address we're going to be talking about.
Okay. My name is Steve Babbitt, and I am a broker, a real estate broker, and I am representing Mark Willie for his property at 1641 Creek Street, Rochester, New York, 14625.
Okay, perfect. And then just so that we're all looking at the correct information, what we have in front of us is the town has you currently assessed at the property at a $221,300, and you're looking for that to be reduced down to $180,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we did have to kind of just get all that stuff on record.
No, that's perfect.
All right. So yeah, so we do have the package of information with this 3 comps in it. So if you wanted to just kind of give us the highlights of, kind of how you compared those and what about this property, that we need to be aware of as we make our assessment?
Okay, well, first thing I'd like to do is, having been in real estate for 43 years and living on Creek Street for over 50 years, or just off of Creek Street, one of the things that the assessor's office does not take in consideration, because they typically look at square footage, bedrooms, and bathrooms, and possibly lot size. This particular house has several different factors that seriously affect the market value, because that's what I understand the assessors have moved towards a full value, market value assessment. So the first thing that I would bring to your attention is this house is on Creek Street. It's an incredibly busy street. I've sold at least 10 houses over the years on Creek Street. They all sell for less than a house back down the street from where they're located. The second thing about this house is it's a corner lot. In Rochester, corner lots are the hardest houses to sell because they have twice as much exposure. This house has that. The third thing about this house is it's on a septic system. In fact, it's got two septic systems, one in the front and one in the back. The one in the back is not working, and they don't use that bathroom. It's a bathroom in the basement. And so the tax data on this house is incorrect. It's saying it has 3 bathrooms. It only has 1.5 bathrooms. And then the fourth thing is this house has not had any remodeling done, which seriously affects the resale value. So because of that, I'm pretty confident as a realtor that probably the best I could do with this house on the market is 180. And the comps I provided were all Creek Street houses, and they all sold for less than the asking price. And you can kind of see how that played out.
Okay.
Very good. We can review all this information, and the town will get back to you within a couple of weeks.
Now, the person I was talking to earlier said I should mention, when I filled out the forms for 2 properties in Penfield, turned them in on May 5th, and I have never heard about the other one, and which is on Parkview Drive. So if there's a way you can put that down, it's Mary J. at Parkview Drive, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm sure if
I know you don't have.
Yeah, we don't have it in front of us,
Right.
but I'm sure if you submitted it, it's kind of worked its way through the process that, that we're going through. So obviously we've got, I think, 800 to 1,000 residences that we're reviewing during this process. So I'm sure it's gotten looked at some point, and I don't know whether or not, I don't know the status of that one, no, off the top of our heads.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap it up, as I mentioned, I'm a broker owner. I've been in real estate for 43 years. I'm a past president of the Greater Rochester Association of Realtors. I've sold over 2,200 homes, and I think I have a pretty good knowledge of what a house in Penfield, especially in my neighborhood, would sell for with those characteristics that I've just pointed out. And I really believe 180 is a fair price for this property.
Excellent. Thank you so much for everything. We got to move on to the next person, and like I said, the town will get back to you within a couple of weeks.
That sounds good. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next one is ready.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. This is Jim Francis.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
Doing well.
Good. Well, welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear the information that you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes, I do.
Great. So if you could, I know you kind of already gave us your name, but if just for the record, if you could just state your name and property address that we're going to be talking about.
Sure, it's James Francis. Feel free to call me Jim. The property address is 37 Cardigan Square, Rochester, New York, 14625.
All right, great. And so just so we're all working from the same information, what we've got in front of us is the town has you assessed at $347,900, and you're looking for that to be reduced down to $310,000.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, so we do have the application and the package of information that you submitted as support. But, I know we only have a few minutes here, so just wanted to give you the opportunity to tell us what you wanted us to know in regards to the condition of the property so that when we're doing our review of all this information, we've got the best picture that we can.
Very good. Yeah, so as the information shows, the previous assessment was $251,800, of which $68,000 of that was the property assessment. Within the packet, I provided the requested 3 comparable sales, one on Woodfield Drive, one on Westfield Commons, and one on Chippenham. So I was looking for one within my community, a couple outside of the community. They're comparable in terms of year built, number of rooms, square footage. Mine does fall, a bit below these, but they're all generally around 4 bedrooms, 2.5, 3 baths with similar or comparable property size. Let's see. Beyond that, I had included some information with respect to what you'll find on the real property portal for Monroe County for current condition. So no improvements, just standard upkeep and maintenance on the home. Additionally, the real property portal property sheets for the comparables. And then you'll find a list of sales that I extracted from the sheet that the town provided, the spreadsheet. These are all within the community. Again, tried to find comparable in terms of style, year build, number of beds and baths. I think the struggle that I had, and you folks may as well, is I've probably got, for a 4-bedroom, one of the smaller homes in terms of square footage within this community. And then last, basically took information from several of my neighbors that had similar home sizes. So within a couple of houses of mine, you've got 39 Cardigan and 41 Cardigan, which are relatively close in terms of square footage, year built, very similar styles. Obviously, I'll discuss this as neighbors, and based on what they were sharing with me, the homes at 39 and 41 Cardigan were being reassessed between about $290 and $295. Again, you folks had me at $347,900. And then around the corner at 51 Westfield Commons, which is a much larger home, almost 3,200 square feet. That's a 5-bedroom, 3 full bath. My understanding is that they're being reassessed for around $344, $345. So, as I look at this, I know, after my conversation with Chris, the tentative assessment had me at $347,900. I feel that's still about $38,000 too high. It still represents about a 38% increase, or $96,100 increase. If we had this at $310,000, it'd be about a $58,200 increase, or about 23%. Lastly, just a couple of kind of high notes. I did provide the survey information for the property, and what you'll see, I think, that's unique to my property is along the east side of the property, there's a private drive. So I've got 2 homes directly behind me that share a driveway on the back side of my property. Off of that, there's an access and utility easement, so I can't do much with that portion of my yard. And then what we found actually was unusual once we bought the home is there is a utility easement across the middle portion of the backyard. So there's about a 20 or 25-foot utility easement that subdivides the back third of the property. So I just wanted to make sure that those were, noted. I think things that should be taken into account as you folks review.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Fantastic. Any questions for me?
No questions.
No, I think we're all good. So what we'll do is we'll take all this information, we'll do our deliberations and make our decision, get that back to the town. The town will get a letter out to you in a couple of weeks.
Fantastic. Thank you, folks. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. You have a great day.
Take care.
All right, bye. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Good.
So welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear the information that you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. So for the record, if you could just state your name and your property address for us.
Yes, John Marshall, 19 Chippenham Drive.
Okay. And just so that we're all working from the same information, the town currently has you assessed at $330,000, and you're looking for that to be reduced to $288,000. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, perfect.
Okay, good. All right, so we have the application that you submitted along with the supporting information. But since we really only have a few minutes here, then this is kind of your opportunity to highlight the information you want us to be aware of so that when we're doing our deliberations, we can take that into account.
Sure. The only other thing I'd really like to add is just the condition of our home, mainly on the interior. And I don't know if that ever, comes into play, if somebody would ever come out and go through the home, but time has gotten away from us, and sadly we've done very little on the interior of it over the years. And there are some blemishes on the exterior. There's some holes in the siding, as well as marks on the garage door that's a result of our son shooting hockey pucks over the years.
I know that.
So yeah, you feel my pain.
Yep.
And that, do you want me to go over any of the printed info or not really?
No, I think we can go through that. I think just really making sure we understand, the condition of your home as we kind of look at this data.
Yeah, I mean that's it's much worse on the interior than it is on the exterior.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you have any
Very good.
Do you have any
questions?
Anybody got any questions?
No questions.
I don't think I do.
No, I think we're good. So we can take, obviously, we'll look at the data you provided, and we will take it all under advisement and make our decision, get back to the town. The town gets back to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Would anybody want to come out or not really?
I think we're probably pretty good. I don't think we need to.
Okay. I was just curious. All right, well, I greatly appreciate your time.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you so much. You have a great day.
All right, you guys too. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next is Ray.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Good.
All right, so welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So for the record, if you could just state your name and the property address we're going to be talking about.
Sure. It's Joe Gibbons. Address is 134 Burrow Hills Drive, Rochester, New York, 14625.
Okay, great. And just so that we start off on the same page, what we've got in front of us is the town's got you assessed at $242,500, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $220,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, we have the application that you submitted and the supporting documentation that you provided. But in the 5 minutes that we have, if this is kind of your opportunity to give us a high-level look at what the condition of your property is, what information we should be taking into account as we look through this information and make our decision.
Sure. Well, my wife and I purchased the property in 2003, I believe, April 2003. It's a good shape, 1957 build, split level, kind of back up this creek. So really, my assessment's gone from 162 to 247, 242.5.
Yep.
Which I understand that the assessment should go up over time, but really, I really haven't done too many improvements to the house since then, and just looking at some comparables around the area. Different split levels about the same age. It just felt like, the assessment may be a little too high for my house and for my property at this time.
Okay. Anything in particular about your property that you wanted to highlight in terms of its condition on the interior?
No, not really. We've done some remodeling on the inside, the bathroom and the kitchen, but other than that, it's relatively unchanged from when we moved in.
Okay. All right. Well, then I think that we have everything that we'll need. So we will take all this under advisement. We'll make our decision, get back to the town. The town gets back to you in a couple of weeks via a letter.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time. You too. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just for the record, if you could just state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Thomas A. Corletta, Corletta. The address of the property is 40 Brass Castle, Webster 14580, Town of Penfield.
Great. And just so that we make sure we're all looking at the same information, the town currently has you assessed at $466,200, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $415,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So we do have the application you submitted with the backup supporting documentation that you provided. I guess right now we've got about 5 minutes, so we wanted to give you the opportunity to tell us what you wanted us to know about the condition of the property, so that when we're making our decision, we have whatever you want us to be aware of.
Okay. Well, I think it's relatively straightforward.
Okay.
I'm an attorney, and I've done valuation cases and matrimonials before where we've talked about values of property, so I'm kind of familiar with it. Here we have a situation where I've given you a comp that is basically across the street, 2 doors down. The comp is 221 square feet bigger than mine. The comp is built about the same year as mine, 2003 versus 2000. The comp has an in-ground vinyl pool just like mine. You may not know this, or maybe you do, I don't know. The houses in this tract are pretty similar in terms of most of them were built by Viola. I picked the comp that was the closest to mine, and it turned out to be like 2 doors down. I did some research on multiple listings to a realtor that I know. And in any event, how I calculated the 415 was just subtracting the difference in the square footage and multiplying it by the price per square foot. I think it's fairly straightforward. That house has 4 bedrooms, mine have 3. That house has a 3-car garage, mine has 2, and it's the same acreage. So I think it's pretty, in the comp world, in my opinion, it's pretty close to being as apples to apples as you're going to get. So that's basically it.
All right.
Okay.
Just so you know, sir, because I know that's the only comp you're hanging your hat on, it is reported by the town that it is an estate sale, and a lot of times those do tend to sell for below market, just for your information.
I knew the guy who died, so I did know it was an estate sale.
Okay.
But I don't think it can make any generalization in this real estate market, but I don't know if that's necessarily, right now the prices of real estate are fluctuating virtually daily, so I don't think it can make any generalizations in that regard.
Okay.
I think you got to kind of go with the objective criteria. That's what I tried to do.
Sure. All right, very good. We'll get all your information, get a number together, get it to the town, and they'll get back to you in a couple weeks.
Very good. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. So for the record, if you could just state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Okay. Brian O'Shell. My address is 27 Chippenham Drive, Penfield, 14526.
All right, great. And just so that we're all on the same page, what we have in front of us is that the town's got you assessed at $308,300, and you're looking to have that reduced to $275,200.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so we have your application, and we have the supporting documentation that you had provided. But in this, quick window that we have, we only got about 5 minutes, so just wanted to give you an opportunity to highlight some of the things about your property that you want us to make sure we take into account when we're making our decision.
No problem. I tried to be as detailed on the presentation, the information as possible. So my initial 3 comps showed that I submitted on 3 additional colonials that were 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1.5 bath, just like mine. They were slightly larger, on average about 600 square foot larger than mine, and the average price per square that they sold for was $112. I'm currently assessed at $103 and change. The town initially on the preliminary tax assessment came back at $324.7, or bumped it to $152 per square. They then submitted the proposed tax assessment back to me to get it down to the $308,300, which is still at $145 per square. So I then broadened the scope and said, okay, let's take a look at all transactions that have sold within the Chippenham neighborhood, and there were 19 sales that transpired during this 3-year period. Average price per square is $129 is what all 19 average per. So that's where I arrived at my square footage of 2,133, one of the smaller homes in the neighborhood. At $129 is the $275 too. That was my justification for the backup.
Okay. All right. Well, very good then. Does anybody got any questions?
No questions.
We can go over the sales.
Okay. All right, great. So we can.
The other point is, and it's difficult from a homeowner in Penfield right now. These sale prices. When I look back and I did the assessment and review back in 2009, there were quite a few owner concessions that were wrapped up in the sale prices at all. So without knowing that information, did any of these purchasers roll in their closing costs? Did any of these purchasers purchase, furniture, fixtures, those types of things? That's what we don't know as residents without having access to the MLS system. So, that's just one thing that could skew the sale prices on these on a per square basis as well.
Mm-hmm. Sure, fair enough. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, well, great. So we will take all this into account. We'll make our decision, get back to the town, and the town will reach back out to you in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So if you could just, for the record, state your name and your property address that we're going to be talking about.
John Fazio. I have 2 property addresses. The first one is 1639 Jackson Road, Penfield, New York. 14526, and the second property address is 1643 Jackson Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. That's an empty piece of land.
Okay, great. Just so we're kind of all starting from the same spot, just want to make sure we're correct on the information we have in front of us. The town currently has your house assessed at $233,200, and you're looking to have that reduced to $158,000.
Well, I'm not looking to go to that number, but I'm not. I know I've been at 158 for quite some time.
Okay.
But I'm. There's no way we're going to 233.
Okay. And then on the vacant land property, the town has you assessed at $48,900, and you're looking for that to be $25,000?
Yeah, that one without a doubt, and that's because of We'll get to that when we get to it. So. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess let's start talking about your residence property then. So we do have the information that you submitted, the application and the letter and backup information you provided. But I just want to give you the opportunity to give us the highlights of what you want us to know about your property, so that when we're making our decision, we've got all that information from you.
Well, in addition to what I wrote down there, I've lived here since 1990, and it was a whole different neighborhood in 1990. There were no homes behind me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was just a rural neighborhood. You know what I mean? I lived on just a normal street, and for years it was valued that way. Now all of a sudden, I happened to sell some of my property years ago to a builder because the town encouraged me to do it, and my neighbor sold some land to the builder, and now they have some of the nicest homes in our area right behind me. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm still the old guy in the old neighborhood, with the old house. I'm not the new guy in the new neighborhood with the new house. And because of, what goes on in my neighborhood, my old neighborhood, you can read what I wrote. Did you read what I wrote? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Now, this situation, what I wrote, this situation's been going on forever. And you have to understand something. One of the reasons why I've never made a big deal about it is because I'm dealing with somebody who is not capable of talking to a neighbor. Joe Hamill's my neighbor. Joe Hamill is a great guy. He's lived there his entire life. His mother's lived there for 100 years. Joe Hamill and me have been standing at my mailbox when the guy across the street, Joe Felbo, comes and gets his mail, and I would say something every so often like, "Hey, Joe, how come sometimes when you're riding the lawnmower, you're throwing me the finger or swearing at me or yelling at me?" And he would say to me, "Oh, that's because I'm crazy." So, I came home one time and I had a cross nailed to my mailbox, and Joe Hamill next door, the good guy, he said, "Look at this." I said, "Yeah, I can see it." I said, he nailed a cross to my mailbox, and on the cross was hanging tuna fish cans, and different shit was hanging from the cross. So I parked my car, I came out, I ripped it off the mailbox, I threw it in his yard. The next thing you know, he's throwing it in my yard, so then I called the cops. This happened once. I've been here since 1990. That only happened once. But it's the kind of thing that if you're dealing with somebody that nails a cross to your mailbox, and you're dealing with somebody that when you see him at the mailbox, when there's a witness there, and you ask him a simple question, "How come you do this or how come you do that?" and he tells you right to your face, "Because I'm crazy," as a neighbor, you don't want to make too big of a deal about anything. You follow me?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's day and age, when people just, use weapons to get even. So that's one of the reasons why, other than writing it down and talking in front of the tax guys, because I've been in front of the tax assessment board since I've lived here in 1990, twice. I went to the tax grievance board twice you should see what I have in front of me here.
I'm sorry, sir. We still have to talk about your other property, so you might want to...
I know, but,
okay.
But what I'm trying to say is, if I was in front of you, not over the phone, you would see a stack of data that I have that I did research twice back to sit in front of you guys for the same reason. But I didn't include half of it in my little presentation.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, that's the house.
Got it.
Now the lot, if you look at the lot, you look at the shape of the lot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You see that shape of a lot? Now, technically, it's 0.58 acres, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So technically, because it's a corner lot in a beautiful town of Penfield, technically it's enough space to put a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I was always told that the house would not be part of the development. The house would face Jackson Road and would have a driveway dump out on Springside. You follow me? The house would face Jackson Road and have a driveway back out, if there was ever a house there. When I sold the land to the builder and kept what's highlighted there, you see the area that's kept?
Yep.
Yep.
By accident, the land behind my 1639 house, that little strip of land there, by accident that was included because I had some pine trees that I had planted back there, and I didn't want to have them all ripped down, so I said, let me just keep this little piece here and this piece here, and we got a nice little square, and the builder can go from there. And as it turned out, it was enough property to put a house. But if you think you can put a house there, you ever look at the property, guys? Couple things that are wrong with it. When the guy who bought my property, 1643, his name was Dutch Sumners, one of the wealthiest guys in Western New York. When he came to my office a week before closing, he said to me, listen, I want a discount on the price. I said, listen, Dutch, there's no discount on the price. We negotiated the price. We're closing next week. This is the deal. He then called the site. When I got home from work that night, the site was then surrounded with the black fence that they put around when they start moving the earth. And I now have a lot, gentlemen, that is below the sidewalk and below the street. You don't have any lots in Penfield that are below the sidewalk and below the street other than mine. And I went to the planning board and the zoning board in September and October when I sold the land to the guy, and I didn't get anywhere because all the town wanted me to do is sell the land to the guy so they can put Springside Lane in and make 145 houses, not 90 houses. So after I did it, and then I came back for a little protection because I wanted my lot graded the way it should have been graded, the planning and the zoning board in September and October denied me. You can go back and look at it, watch it on TV. And when they denied me, I said to myself, this is not a building lot, because if it was a building lot, it would be higher than the sidewalk and higher than the street, like all the rest of your building lots in this town. You understand what I just said?
Yep.
Certainly.
Yep.
Okay. You got it. That's it. I'm all
right.
done.
Okay. Very good. So we'll take all this into account. We will make our decisions and get back to the town, and then the town will reach back out to you in a couple of weeks.
I appreciate it, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Bye.
Good morning. Hi, Jim McElwain.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Great. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. So if you don't mind, just please give us your name for the record as well as the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
My name is James McElhaney, and the property address is 4 Random Nose Drive, Penfield.
Okay, great. And so that we're making sure that we're all talking about the same information, the town currently has you assessed at $291,900, and you're looking for that to be reduced down to $231,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, great. So we do have your application and the supporting information that you provided, but since we only have a short period of time here this morning, I wanted to give you the opportunity to let us know what you think is important about your property that we should be taking into account when we make our decision.
Sure. As I say, my occupation, I am an attorney. I'm a litigation attorney at Wood Soviet, and one of the things I specialize in is eminent domain, so I'm very familiar with how this process works, and that's why, both my wife and I took a lot of time, looking at some other homes in our area. We gave 5 of them on our sheet, for 26 Random Knolls, 36 Random Knolls, 1 Hallmark Circle, 26 Edenfield, and 57 Random Knolls. And, from our perspective, when we look at our property, and again, I don't know if as part of your process you actually went to the houses and looked at each individual house, or whether you basically did this, without an actual house inspection, and you just, looked at some comparable property. But, when we look at it, to go 197.2 to 291,000, a 95,000 increase in a year, I think is way too high. And when we look at those comparables, we're looking at houses that are in much better condition than our house. Our house has the original carpets, the original kitchen and cabinets, original bathrooms. We have an old roof, an old deck. We have the original driveway. We have an area out back, that has 54 dead ash trees on it, which I've had a landscaper come out. He's quoted me between $300 and $400 to take those trees down, which is a cost to me of $16,000 to $20,000, which I think has to be taken into account as far as, fair market value of the property at this point in time is. But, my perspective, I look at all the other comparable sales, then look at, what you're charging us on a per square foot basis. I just think it's way too high. We did our computations based upon those comparables and what we thought would be, a fair per square foot value based upon comparing those 6 comparables with our house. And from our perspective, I think $116 a square foot would be fair when you take the total of those 5 and compute it out. And that's how we came up with our fair market value of $231. I think that, truly reflects the fair market value of the property. And from our opinion, $291,900 is way high for our house. So that's our position.
Okay, great. All right, so we appreciate all that information, and we will deliberate, take this all into account, and make our decision. And then we go get that information back to the town. The town reaches back out to you with a letter in a couple of weeks.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, well, great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thank you. Yep,
right,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Close.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
Doing great, thanks. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. And then for the record, if you could please just state your name and the property address we're going to be talking about.
It's Paul Piazza, 1620 Jackson Road, Penfield.
Okay.
New York 14526.
Great. And just so we're working from the same information, the town has you assessed at $242,000, and you think that should be dropped to $200,000. Is that correct?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. All right. So we do have your application and the information that you provided as support. So since we really only have a limited amount of time here, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to tell us what you wanted us to know about your property so that we can take that into account when making our decision.
Okay, well, thank you for, I did get an initial reduction from the first value, but as I said, it's still high, and personally, I think it's valued as if the house is in a nice subdivision, which it isn't. I think you're all familiar where I live on the corner, busy Jackson Road, right by the maintenance department. And over the years, I've gotten surrounded by things. And I've got the party house behind me. I've got the food house on the one side. I've got an old crummy farmhouse on the south side. And then on the east side, now I've got the new solar farm that the highway department built. So all of these things are killing my value. And that's the main reason. If I was in a nice track, you're pretty close to what it would be worth, but not where I am now. It's a lot different than when I built the house 40 years ago. So is there any questions about my location, first of all, or is everybody good with that?
We know where it is.
No, we know exactly where it is, yep.
Okay, so there's not much I can do about the party houses every day, and they're very loud. Sometimes there's 300 people in my backyard. But the worst thing to me is looking at the solar farm. I'm so disappointed when they put that up. They put a berm there, but it doesn't cover anything in the wintertime. It's just awful. So everybody comes to my house and says, "Oh, what's that?" So I'm really sick of people saying that to me, but I'm kind of stuck with it. And then I got the old farmhouse on my left that's probably worth $100,000. He keeps all junk in the back. He's got broken down trucks. I'm surprised the town deals with that. And then the food house isn't too bad except for traffic all the time when they pick up the food and park in my yard sometimes by mistake. So my main argument is my location. And the value is not way high now, but it's definitely should be close to $200,000. I've checked with everybody I know that knows market values. It's going to kill me when I go to sell. I'm 70 years old now, so hopefully I'll be there another 10 years or so. Any questions about the house? I've never really improved too much. The original kitchen and bath and windows, and the only thing I added over the years was the gas fireplace. That's about it. I need to do some work if I want to spend money at this stage of my life, but so that's pretty much it. It's really the location is my main argument. There's no comparables I could find that really match up. Definitely not on Jackson Road. And then whatever you pick, it's usually not on a busy road. They have the same problem as me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm hoping you guys understand. I want to stay there, but the town offered to buy it from me for a couple. They didn't make a formal offer. They said we'd give you a couple $100,000. That wasn't too long ago. Maybe make it part of the park plans at some point, but we'll see about that someday. But that's pretty much my main argument. It's the location. It's a busy corner. You guys know cars come around there 50 miles an hour. And my 3-year-old grandson, I've got to be very careful with him now.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Good.
All right, I think we have everything.
Sometimes it can be a chore, just get in the mail because it's on the other side. But yeah, I hope you understand and help me out a little bit. If you can't, you can't, but I know you're too high.
Okay. No, I appreciate that.
Right.
All right. Well, great. We've got all that we need. Then we will make our decision, and the town will get back to you probably in a couple of weeks.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. morning.
Morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, let me quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So for just for the record, if you could just state your name and the property address we're going to be talking about.
Diana Georgakopoulos, Diana Cantos Georgakopoulos, 7 Harvest Walk, Webster, New York.
Okay.
580.
Great, thank you. And just so that we're making sure we got the right information, what we have in front of us is that the town currently has you assessed at $333,000, and you'd like to have that reduced down to $305,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. So we do have your application, but so we really only have about 5 minutes here, so this is kind of your opportunity to tell us what you want us to know about your house and the condition of the property so that we can take that into account when making our decision.
Okay. Time start now?
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay. The property really has not had any upgrades since we purchased the property. Outside or inside, I sent pictures of the bathrooms and the kitchen that were the original from when the house was built, comparable to a lot of the neighbors that have upgraded their kitchens and did remodels. So those are the originals. They're based on the size of the house and true value of the house. That's what I think I know that the house is worth. I could say it's currently, I believe, at $268,000. I know it hasn't been assessed in several years, so a limit of $40,000 as an initial jump, I think, is reasonable given the time it was assessed. So that would actually bring it to $308,000 rather than the $305,000. And that's how I feel the value of the property is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, that's great.
In the market currently, but I feel that's a reflection of, an unrealistic value of houses of what they're selling and what some of the valuations are based on. I don't feel that's fair because that market value isn't going to last. This is a boom and it will change, and then those houses aren't going to be worth what they actually sold for at the current time. We've seen that happen in the past.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
The 308 is a true value currently.
Okay, very good. All right, so we will take that into account. What will happen is we will do our deliberations and come to a conclusion. We will get that conclusion back over to the town, then the town will reach out to you via a letter in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks so much for your time.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. For this next one, do you guys have this sheet at the end? Because I have 3 of them, so I wonder if they got
Yeah, okay. Oh, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information that you are about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for the record, if you could state your name and the address of the property that we're going to be talking about.
Gary Jones and Linda Jones, 135 Farmbrook Drive, Penfield.
Okay, thank you. And just so that we're working from the right information, the information we have in front of us is that the town has you assessed at $289,100, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $238,200. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So we do have the application that you submitted along with the supporting information. So this is kind of your opportunity here in the next 5 minutes to tell us what you want to highlight, what information we need to understand or know as we're making our decision.
Okay. First of all, we feel that our home is over assessed compared to similar homes in our area. And we've attached 3 of those comparables. 88 Burroughs Hill has an assessment of 180, the past assessment, not the present one. 170 City View Drive has an assessment of $190,000, and 220 Harwood Circle has an assessment of $184,000. And we feel that compared to those, our house has been overassessed for tax purposes. Furthermore, we have a special situation concerning our next door neighbor. I attached a letter of complaint on the real property assessment. There's an additional letter as an attachment. The big thing that I should have emphasized more is that we feel he is operating a business from his home. And we feel that there's a lot of factors that have caused us to lose value in our home. In particular, and I didn't emphasize as much as I think I should have, but in the last bullet, the fourth bullet on the letter, it says he constantly parks construction equipment in his yard. But I didn't emphasize enough that he is operating a business from his home. And I cited two points in the town code, and they are 250, 5.1, 3A, and 3D, and they concern businesses in a residential area like ours, and they are not permitted, and he has been operating a business. Also, they're out of his garage. He parks trucks between our two properties. He drives over our property, and so on. His property is typically in disrepair with a lot of junk and debris around, and he has no compulsion about throwing debris material into our yard as well. We also have in addition to our next door neighbor, we have an easement of 10 feet on our property, which the town has an easement with us. And because of the steep topography, we can really only use about half of our 0.98 acre property. But I wanted to ask you if you need any clarification on any of the points that I brought up.
I don't think so.
No, I think you explained it well.
Okay. And if you are interested, Heidi Bowl has been the person who's been on top of the situation. And if you need verification of any of this, including the violations of town code, she would be the person to speak to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, so we will take all that into account, and we will deliberate and make our final decision, and then we'll get back to the town, and the town will let you know in a couple of weeks of what that answer is via a letter.
Okay, so the town will send me a letter within 2 weeks, and if I don't receive one, what's my course of action at that point?
Well, I mean, I think you will receive a letter one way or the other. I don't know if it'll exactly be 2 weeks. That's just an estimate on our part, but
all right.
Obviously you should get one, in the near future.
Okay, let me just ask my wife if I missed anything. Did I miss it? Okay, she feels I covered what I needed to in that short period of time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Okay, and thank you for contacting me, and we appreciate anything you can do to help us.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes, I do.
All right, great. So then for the record, if you could please state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Okay, my name is Cherubina Wachjaki, and I live on 25 Cliff View Drive, Rochester, New York, 14625.
All right, great. And just so that we're working from the same information, what we have is that the town currently has you assessed at $229,000, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $152,800. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, so we have your application here with the information that you provided. So since we really only got about 5 minutes, this is kind of your opportunity to let us know what you want us to know about the property, its condition, all that kind of stuff, so that we have the right information when we're looking at the information and making our decision.
Well, the property is just as when it was built. There's been nothing updated. The only thing that was updated was my kitchen sink because it was falling down. Okay. Otherwise, nothing inside was done, redone, and nothing is updated. It's just the same as it was almost 50 years ago. Oh, I think it is 50 years ago because it was 1974 that we had the house built.
Okay.
So I'm going to be 74 years old, and I'm on $11,000 pension a year. So if, I know the taxes are going to go up after this, so I don't know what to do. I mean, really, my houses shouldn't be that high. This is all I could say, because,
Okay.
I'm not an expert on computers, so that I could go and find out a lot of stuff. Whatever I gave you there, a friend of mine helped me get all the information that I could to give you guys.
Okay. All right, well, we will take a look at the information and do our deliberations and make a conclusion. We will then let the town know that answer, and the town will get back to you in a couple of weeks via a letter.
Well, please, like I said, I'm going to be 74, living on $11,000 a year Social Security. If the tax keeps on going up and up and up, I honestly don't know what to do. So, tell the board to think about that too for me. I really appreciate it, giving me a chance. Like I said, nothing has been done in the house, like I said, except for the kitchen sink.
Okay.
So.
All right, we will take all that into account.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye. You
Bye.
too.
I'm going to connect Knight Bridge to you next.
Good morning. Hello?
Hi, good morning. Anthony here.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Doing great. All right, so before we get started, though, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so just for the record, if you could state your name and the address of the property we're talking about today.
Anthony Full, 31 Nightbird Circle, Penfield, 14526.
All right, perfect. All right, just so that we're all working from the same information, what we've got in front of us is the town has you assessed at $458,100, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $410,000. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right, so we have the application that you submitted. So this is kind of your opportunity to give us the highlights of what you, the condition of your property, things you want us to know about as we're making our decision.
Sure. Yeah, so I have three main points for you. First, I purchased a house in 2020, so we've been there just over 2 years now. Right after I purchased, the home was reassessed at the current assessed value. So it was just reassessed 2 years ago. It was a new build, so hence the reassessment. And the assessment that we're looking at now is, I believe, just about a bit over a 30% increase off of the 2020 value. The second is I went through the comparables list that was provided. I had provided a sample with my submission that will give you a feel for how I went and kind of categorized a similar home. So I went by square footage, number of beds, number of baths, and land size. It gave us it was like 15 or 20 properties. And what I did is I took an average of those assessed values based on the sale price of those homes. And the average was $348,000. Okay. So it was actually much closer to my 2020 previously assessed value. And then the third point is there's been no major changes to the property over the last 2 years. With the new build, it's been a lot of the typical blinds and kind of getting up to stuff, but no major renovations over the last 2 years.
Okay.
Very good.
That's all I have.
All right, great. That's very helpful. So we will take that all into account. We'll deliberate, make our decision, and get back to the town. The town will then reach back out to you via a letter probably in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good morning. Or I guess good afternoon. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Kristen.
Hi. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. All right, so just for the record, if you could just give us your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Yep, this is Kristen O'Loughlin talking about 19 Skyview Lane.
Okay, perfect. And just so that we're all talking about the same information, what we have in front of us is the town has you assessed at $219,200, and you're looking to have that reduced to $174,688.
Correct.
Okay, great. So we have the application that you submitted along with the supporting information you provided. So this is kind of your opportunity to tell us a little bit about the property and make sure that we understand what you want us to know as we work through our decision.
Sure. So would you like me to just talk about the house?
Yeah. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about the house, its condition, and kind of basically how you came to the conclusion $175,000 is the market value.
Yes, well, I'm not a real estate agent. I've never done this before, but I was very surprised by the assessment going up by 54% because my house hasn't changed that much. Basically, everything in the house is original to 1964. There's no updated kitchen. There's one updated bathroom. There's no finished basement. There's a deck that replaced a patio. That's probably the only major upgrade I've made. That patio was falling apart and leaking into the basement. So I put it on a deck. That's the original doors, windows, siding, gutters, and kitchen. The roof is about 20 years old. The cedar siding is in need of repair. The garage has a leaky floor. Water comes in when it rains. There's a damp basement. You can't finish the basement. Let's see. I think that's a description of the house. I'm just not sure on how the assessment went up so much. I understood that the real estate market right now is hot and people are selling houses easily, but I'm not selling my house. So that is my description of why I am asking for a reduction because I don't think it's justified, and I feel like if in another year or so when the market comes back to normal, that my house will not be valued at quite so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Does anybody got any questions?
No questions.
No? All right, great. So I think we've got everything we need. So what we will do is take a look at all this information and make our decision, and then we get back to the town, and the town gets back to you via a letter probably in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
Hello, my name's Lawrence.
Hi, how are you today?
Pretty good, except I spilled a little coffee on him. Other than that, I'm doing okay.
All right. Well, welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
All right, great. So just for the record, if you could just state your name and the property address, please.
This is Lawrence Wood, C3 Chippenham Drive in Penfield.
Okay. And just for the make sure we're all on the same page, what we have in front of us is that the town has you assessed at $342,700, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $303,300. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So we have your application and the information that you provided. So this is kind of your opportunity to tell us, your story, what's the condition of the property, so that we can have that information when we do our deliberation.
Okay. What I did was to conduct a brief search through the record available. Good website, by the way. I should appreciate that. I created a spreadsheet. I searched only for those houses, Shire Court area that we live in, and I came up half a dozen what I thought were good matches. I took the three most favorable to my position and a spreadsheet that I attached. I came up with the average dollars per foot, applied that to my square footage, and that's how I came up with $103,000.
Okay. And
as far as goes, we've maintained homes, but there are some repairs to the patio or the sidewalk, and they've heaved and smoothed and need to be repaired. We suffered a loss of, one of the reasons that we bought the place was a nice stand of trees behind it. And where we used to have a dozen ash trees, we now have 12 stumps. And we feel that that has affected the value of and property. Rugs are all original and 30 years old, family room. And we have done no upgrades like a number of people in the area, but new counters and spring, and we've not done that. But we still have the original Corian granite, no pool. And the final point I wanted to bring up was that we have in contact with a realtor who says in a newsletter that the market believes has peaked and that they are seeing fewer people coming to their open houses, and we're pretty sure that that's true from what we've heard and seen, and so we think that the value was assessed at a time when things were really a real seller, and we don't think that's so true anymore. So those are the things we wanted. My wife is, and you're on a speakerphone. This is Marcella.
Oh, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And so, anything you want to add to that?
No. The realtor who we would be working on, my husband's over 80 and I'm approaching, and as we need to downsize, the realtor that we would be working on is Mark Zewick, the president of his own real estate company, a large one in this area, in Pittsburgh, Penfield, etc.
Mm-hmm.
He said that people are still hoping for high prices on their homes, but they are not getting the overbids that they had been, and that we've missed our glorious opportunity. And the backyard looks kind of dismal without the trees. And what upkeep we have done has been our own. We have not had any interior repainting. It was a new build when we bought it. And 30 years ago, I could do some painting and did with Larry, but we have not had any interior painting done in over 20 years. And there are exterior and interior repairs that need to be done.
Oh, I missed one. We have a, but it's not.
Absolutely nothing has ever been done but
we
to
put up
fill
some. We put up some cells so we more of our 60 years of marriage.
And I apologize, you got about 30 seconds, so if you could finish up, that'd be great. Thank you.
I think we're done.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. This is great information. We will definitely take it into account. And we make our decision, get back to the town. The town reaches back out to you in a couple of weeks via a letter.
Okay. Your time and your being as succinct as you were.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hi, this is Ron Rates.
Hi, Ron. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information that you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So just then, for the record, if you could just state your name and your property address that we're going to be talking about.
Ronald Reitz, 1689 Scribner Road.
Okay. And just, I always like to verify this before we get started. Right now, we have the town assessing you at $210,000, and you're looking for that to be reduced to $187,467.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we have your application and the supporting information that you provided. So since we only have about 5 minutes, this is kind of your opportunity to tell us what you want us to know about your property as we make our decision.
Okay, so I think the important thing here is that it's a landmark in the town of Penfield. It's an old house built in 1835, and with that landmark status, there's some liabilities that go along with that, and those are difficult to quantify, but the fact that it's an old house, an old timber frame house, there's particular things that have to happen with that old house to maintain it. And it's the maintenance and the renovation of it, actually, that's what I'm using as my basis for to justify what I think it's worth at the moment. The property is under renovation, and if I look at the real property portal, the listing that or the information given there is that it's listed as a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house with central air. I take take exception to those items in particular. Right now we have two usable 2 bedrooms, and the way it was set up over the many years that the house has been in existence, the bedrooms that were there were small, and it was oddly broken up to accommodate the past residents. Again, it's listed as a 4-bedroom. When we're done with our renovations, it'll be a 3-bedroom house. It's also listed with 3 bathrooms, and 1 bathroom was in a breezeway. That's been completely removed, and what was a second bath is now a half bath. So currently, as the house stands, it has 1.5 bathrooms, and the house does not have central air conditioning as listed in the real property portal. All of those items there, well, in addition to the fact that the roof on the house is old and needs replacing, and those factors, I think, constitute my reduction in value as shown on my spreadsheets to where I get the 187,467 number. I don't know, did that make sense, the way I walked through that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just say then, I think we probably have what we need to make our decision, so that additional color is very helpful. I think what we'll do is we'll go through everything, deliberate, make our decision, and get back to the town, and the town will get back to you within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, if I may add 2 items. So the house sits on a 5-acre lot, which I'm not sure how that factors into how you guys value the properties, but 2 items that are worth noting. The lot was very wooded at one point. However, the wood lot contained probably 80% ash trees, which I think hopefully you guys know about Emerald Ash Borer and doing a number on properties. So a while ago we had many removed. However, there's still quite a few left, and removal of ash trees aren't cheap. So I could detail that further if need be. But then there's also 2 outbuildings on the property. An old gambrel barn that was built 1870-ish that I recently had re-roofed to the tune of $20-some thousand. But there's still additional maintenance just because of structural degradation over the years on that building, and another smaller barn structure which is similar in magnitude in terms of cost to rehabilitate, to renovate, to maintain as part of the historic property. So I wanted to add those 2 items.
Is the 1-story section at the rear, is that part of the living area?
Say that again?
The pictures we're looking at, there's a 1-story...
On the left side, the south side of the house?
Yes.
Yes. So that's the currently renovated, made new portion that contains majority of our living space at the moment.
Okay.
So yes, that's livable.
Yep.
All right. Okay, I think we're probably pretty good then. As I said, the town will get back to you with our decision in the next couple of weeks.
Very good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Next call ready.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Doing great. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me swear you in. Do you swear the information that you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. All right. So just for the record, if you could just state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Scott Scott Lippa, 1 Mount View Crescent, Webster 14580.
Okay, perfect. And so that we're all talking about the same information, what I've got in front of me is that the town currently has you assessed at $410,000, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $378,000.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we do have the packet of information that you gave us along with your application. And, so since we only have about 5 minutes here, if this is kind of your opportunity to tell us about the property, and so that we have whatever information you think is pertinent as we go through and make our decision.
Okay, well, there was a letter that was attached as well, which kind of took you through some of the history. It looks like they incorrectly assessed my house back in 2020 after a sale in 2018 by 5% of the value. And when I called about that fact, that's when they lowered it to 410 from the number that I got from the letter. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a bad echo. I don't know if you guys are hearing that.
Yeah, we're not hearing it, so I apologize if it's coming through on your end.
Okay, well, basically, the houses I submitted with the application, when I did the math that the assessor, I think his name was Mark, took me through on different adds and subtracts, I could only come up with about 370 or 74,000 or so of comparable sales based on the homes I was looking at. And what he had told me, which was news to me at the time, was they're using a 6% market adjustment, which I can't even figure out how they arrived at the 400 and I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head that they sent me the original letter on. And when I called about the incorrect assessment on the 85 or 90%, I still was supposed to have a Board of Assessment review call, which then they tried to deny me from having. Anyway, long story short, I'm having this call. So I don't understand how they could assess me at have to look at the history again here. Hold on 1 second. At 312,300 in 2020, and then as of July 2021, according to the assessor's office, raised that up by over $100,000.
All right, if you're asking us, sir, we couldn't answer that. We're just a member of the board. We're just volunteers. We don't work for the town, so we wouldn't be able to answer that.
Okay, well, I submitted 3 properties that had, from the valid sales list, 37 Scarborough Park, 2 Silver Fox Drive, 58 Avonmore Way. And I did the adds and subtracts there, including for a market rate adjustment of 6% from the sale date. And I come up with the figures you see in the application, 382.9, 376.4, and 373.5. Take an average of those, and that's how I came up with my 378 that I'm asking for in the application.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Okay.
I don't see how the town gets to $420,000. There's just no supporting data there unless you're using, a market value adjustment going back way further than even your own assessment in 2020.
Okay, well, we will certainly take that into account and look at all the information that we have available to us, and we will deliberate on that and make our decision, and then the town will get back to you in the next couple weeks via a letter.
Okay, I'd like to know what the town is using to arrive at my assessment.
Well, unfortunately, we can't speak to that because we don't work for the town. We're just residents of Penfield as well that are volunteering. If you wanted to have a conversation with that, I would suggest reaching out to the assessor's office.
Well, every time I try to do that, they try to get me off the phone as quickly as possible, and they really don't want to talk to me. In fact, Mark told me he doesn't have to share that information with me. So what information are you using to evaluate my request? You, the board.
The information that you send in.
The information you send in, as well as the history of the property as well, in terms of past sales of the past sale price of the property and things of that nature.
Okay, well, the property's never been sold since it was built, and I also included in my application the assessment history going back to the year 2000.
Okay.
Yep, we got all that.
We will take all of that into account.
Okay. You guys don't have any other questions for me?
No other
we
questions?
For me, nope.
Okay. Thanks very much. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, thanks. All right, well, welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me quickly swear you in. Do you swear the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So for the record, just if you could state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Yep, Anthony DeMio, and the address is 12 Harvest Walk.
Okay, thank you. And just so that we're all starting from the same spot, right now what we have in front of us is the town has you assessed at $365,100, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $330,000.
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
Based on the three comparables that I, sent over to the through the initial request. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, so we have that information in front of us, and along with your application. So, for the 5-minute call that we have today, this is kind of your opportunity to just give us the highlights of the property, its condition, and, what you need us to make sure we understand when we go through and make our decision.
Okay, fair enough. Essentially, the house, we've been in it 5 years, and the assessment was raised at the time of purchase to the purchase price. From the last time that the town went through an assessment, it has already been bumped. That was the $25,000 bump from what it was when we were looking at it to what it was assessed at post-purchase. And then I looked at the comparables of other homes, similar square footage, but also number of bedrooms or bath and, things of that nature. The ones I had looked at and put together, if you averaged them, it was, that was around the 330, 335. And our home itself, we've made some minor updates, but it nothing, nothing that stands out as something that would improve the value, more than, a few thousand. And obviously I know the market has kind of surged, but to me it seems like we're sort of overcorrecting for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So anything else you want to tell us about the property? If not, we probably have what we need.
Okay. No, there's nothing, nothing specific about the property, no.
Okay. All right, well, we'll take a look at the information that you provided, and we will go through our deliberations on that, and we'll make our decision, get back to the town, and the town reaches back out to you in a couple of weeks with a letter.
Okay, with a letter. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate your consideration and time today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your time, and you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hold on.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me quickly just swear you in. So do you swear that the information that you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
Great. So for the record, if you could just state your name and the property address that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I'm Lawrence Sy. Last name is spelled S-A-J like Sam Adam John. Sorry. I live at 483 Wilbur Tract Road, Rochester, New York, 14609.
Okay, thank you. And so just we're starting from the same spot. What we've got in front of us is that the town currently has you assessed at $140,200, and you're looking for that to be reduced to $125,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we do have your application here with the letter that you submitted. So this call today, we only got a few minutes, but it's kind of your opportunity to tell us about the property, what information you want us to be aware of when we go through and look at the data and make our decision.
Okay, well, I spoke with a guy, when he, about 2 months ago, I believe his name was Chris. But anyways, I made my case to him because, my assessment went from 109 to 170. And I told him, I said that, this is a very unusual property. I mean, Wilbur Tract Road is a private dirt road. It's about 3/4 of a mile long. It doesn't receive any services from the town at all. No plowing, no salting. A tree falls on a road, we fix it. If it ruts and washes out, we deal with it. I'm lucky I got a neighbor that's got a payloader, but in addition, we're all on wells back there because there's no water. We're all on septic because there's no sewer. We're all on oil for heat or firewood like myself because there's no gas line. In fact, the power lines come through a 1/4 mile of woods going to the west, and, several times a year a tree or something will fall on them, take them out, and we got to deal with that as well. So, that's my one concern is that gets reflected in the assessment. And another thing is, too, is I wanted to ask a question, but I'm wondering what you got my property, my 8.3 acres assessed at, besides the house. I'm just wondering what that, if you could tell me, what,
I don't know that
what the number is on that.
I think we have it here.
I don't know that I have that information.
He did bring it up, though. So that 71,100 it appears that the land's at. Yep.
What's it at?
71,100, if I'm reading that correctly. Am I reading that correctly? Yeah. So that's what your land's at. Are you there?
Hello?
I heard a click.
Yeah, I did too, yeah.
Well, we go by the whole assessment anyway.
Well, I know.
We don't care what the break.
Yes,
Right.
that.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Yeah, it looks like we got cut off. I apologize for that.
Okay. I don't know how far we were into it when suddenly you weren't there. So what's the last thing I told you?
You were wondering about the land assessment.
About the land assessed value.
Right. Well, that's because the two concerns I have is one, the fact that we're without services back there. Two is that the property really isn't buildable. And I was explaining that to the guy 2 months ago on the phone, how, it's shaped like a big triangle. And basically the north is in the middle of a swamp. The east point is in the middle of a swamp. The southern edge goes through a stagnant pond and down a drainage, and the west side is all a steep hill. And so, I was telling him how, if that's assessed at buildable land or something, and it's in a FEMA wetland zone, by the way, too. So is my house. I had to get an exclusion for it when I moved there. So it's not what you would call buildable property, and I was wondering what you got that down as.
Right. We did find out they have you down at the land as 71,000, but don't worry about looking at all that. We look at the total value of the property, so we don't care what the land's assessed at. We're looking at the total value. So don't be concerned about that.
Okay. 71,000 divided by 8, that would be, that's pretty, about 9,000 an acre?
Right. But again, we're going to consider the whole property value, so.
Okay. Well, again, that I would have a big problem with. That could be what throws the whole thing out of whack, is that fact right there alone. I do have photos. I mean, I've got things that I could send to you guys. I got somewhere I was standing on corner lots of my property. I took them the same day I put together that cover letter. But, I mean, it's...
How's the condition as far as modernization, kitchens, baths, all that?
Well, I bought the house in 06 or 07, I think it was, and so far what I have done to it, I haven't done anything in the last several years, but I never touched the kitchen, never touched anything on the first floor. My grandfather built that house in 1940, and I was kind of like raised in it.
Yeah.
So I've really never bothered to modernize it. To me, it's just fine as long as it's functional. I had to put in a shower because it had a bathtub before. The old people didn't take showers; they took baths.
Okay.
I put in a new electric panel because it had the old busted glass fuses that were double and triple tapped, so I had to change that out. I put in a water system because I had bacterial iron issues in the water. It was staining all the fixtures and everything. And I put in a wood-burning stove.
Okay.
Those are all the majors I did on the inside of the house. The major I did outside is I have a garage, a detached garage, that I had to rebuild rafters and all the roof on it about 6 years ago, but I never finished it. As far as it's not, the siding isn't finished on it. It's dirt floor, doesn't have a loft, no stairs. I mean, it's just, I had to do it to save the building. The roof was rotting.
All right. Very good.
The third building, the last building that's on the property is falling apart. It's caved in. The roof is gone on it. I mean, it's just basically an eyesore. It's costing me the ability to go shop for new homeowners insurance because people don't want to touch me because it's considered an unkept building. But I leave it there because I always said one day it'd be nice to put a pole barn there or something, but that takes time and money.
Yep. All right, very good. We got a lot of good information. We will consider everything and get back with a number to the town, and then they'll get back to you within a couple weeks.
Okay, well, again, if you guys would like to see photos that are available, let me know.
All right. Okay. Will do. Should be all set. Okay. Thanks very much.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Take care now. Bye.
Bye.
This is...
What, Dublin?
Dublin? Oh, going back to Dublin? Okay. All right. Hello, good afternoon. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. It's Super Cruzy.
Okay, great. So welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. Before we get started, let me just swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
Yes.
All right, great. So just for the record then, if you could again state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
Yes, it's Susan Vercruzzi, and it's 2035 Dublin Road, Penfield 14526.
All right, great. Okay, and just so that we're all starting from the same spot, the information we have is that the town has you currently assessed at $186,500, and you're looking for that to be reduced to $154,900. Does that sound accurate?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we do have your application and the information that you submitted. Since we only have a few minutes here, this is kind of your opportunity to tell us what you think we need to know about the property so that when we're making our decision, we're fully informed.
Sure. Based on the paperwork that we submitted regarding why we feel that the $186,500 is way out of the truly assessed value of this property, is there have been zero improvements to the actual home. Everything's original when it was built in 1989. No updates, renovations. Really all that we focused on was our land, getting a lot of our ashwood trees that have been dead down, which we've been doing on our own labor, and just getting the actual property in better shape. We've had a lot of flooding issues here, and major issues with our septic tank that has gone, unfortunately, into our basement 3 times in the past almost 4 years that we'll be here. If we had added an addition or if we had renovated and updated anything within the home, I would be a little more inclined to say yes, the value would be closer to what it is currently, being stated as assessed at 180. I understand the assessed value is $132,200 when we purchased it, and we did buy it for the $154,900. We felt if we went any lower than that, then we wouldn't get it. So that's why we went as high as we did, and we were lucky enough that, they took the bid. So I understand it needs to be assessed on what we purchased it for back in 2018. I get it. As far as a $54,300 increase in a year, that is where I have. So that's pretty much just the process, I guess, in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. So the way this works is, we'll take all this information into account. We will deliberate and come to a decision. We get back to the town, and then the town reaches out to you with a letter probably in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so just wait for a letter from the town then?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right, and if we're still in agreement based on the letter I received, what would the next step be?
The next step, I believe there is a kind of a small claims court kind of concept that you can apply to.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate you guys reviewing my paperwork and hearing my voice. I do. Thank you.
Yep, no, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, split layout rail run.
We've been here before.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing great. All right, so welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So before we get started, let me just quickly swear you in. Do you swear that the information you're about to give is, to the best of your knowledge, accurate and truthful?
I do.
Great. And so just for the record then, if you could just state your name and your property address that we're going to be talking about.
Sure. It's Donald Thompson, and the address is 28 Split Rail Run.
Okay. All right, so just so that we're starting from the same spot, what information we have in front of us is that the town currently has you assessed at $405,500, and you're looking to have that reduced down to $376,700. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yep,
okay.
That's right. Yep.
All right, great. So we do have the application that you sent in along with the supporting information you provided. So, the purpose of this call really is for you to kind of give us a overview to let us know what information you want us to make sure we understand as we go through all this information and make our decision.
Sure. I appreciate it. I won't take a lot of your time.
That's okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you were aware, and I think I put it in my application here, that we do not have like a bonus room, a finished basement, a pool, a deck, some of the things that are sort of standard in our area for houses of our size. So that, and I think would probably increase the property value some, which you would know if you were to go inside like a realtor would to figure out what the actual sale price might actually be. I guess the other thing is that I indicated in the application here that we really we've been negligent on the replacing things that need to be replaced. We replaced the hot water heater in the roof, but everything else still needs to be replaced, so that would be something else that would go to the actual market value or sale price. So the way that I came up with the number that I came up with was I tried to look at more than 3 comparables. I tried to look at as many as I could to come up with the average of 126 to 136 per square foot in our area, which would actually be 340,000 to 366,000 for our assessment. But I went above that, just figuring, property values are going up and stuff like that. I think the number is pretty realistic, but probably everybody says that. So I think that was pretty cool. Everybody thinks their number's realistic, and that's why we're talking today, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So I don't really have any other information to add beyond what I submitted in writing, and unless you have any questions, I think that's pretty much all I needed to set out there.
Okay.
I'm okay.
No, I think we're good. So this is helpful. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. So the way this works is, we'll take all this information into account. We will deliberate, make our decision, get back to the town, and the town reaches out to you with a letter in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon.
Hi, is this Kevin?
This is.
Kevin, this is Ivan Turnbull. How are you?
Great. How are you doing today, Ivan?
I'm doing good, thank you. I was just saying, Brian, I can't complain.
That's good. I like that attitude.
Well, he's like, I'm in the basement. I'm like, oh, well, never mind that. It's snowing out. It's horrible. The weather's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Anyways.
Welcome to the Board of Assessment Review. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Before we get started, I just have to quickly swear you in. Do you swear the information you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge accurate and truthful?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. And so if you don't mind, just for the record, just state your name and the address of the property we're going to be talking about.
You got it. It's my name is Ivan J. Turnbull. It's 2783 Atlantic Ave, Penfield 14526.
Perfect. All right. So just so we're starting from the same information, what we have in front of us is that the town has you assessed at $198,400, and you're looking to have that reduced to $169,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. So we do have the application you submitted along with the supporting information. So, but for this this call, since we only have a few minutes, this is kind of your opportunity to just give us some highlights of things you want us to make sure we understand and consider as we make our decision.
Absolutely. Now, I wasn't sure how long I'd have, so I'll go quick. I bought the house 3 years ago. My house is a Dolomite house. It's on Atlantic Ave. Along with all the houses near me. A couple things on my house that I would find it harder to sell. Wasn't completely aware of it when I bought it, but it's okay. I'm on septic for one. I don't have a sewer whatsoever, so I didn't really know that when I bought it. But it's okay. I like it. I love the house. But so I think first being on septic is a little tougher. Number two, my particular house, I have radon gas under my property apparently, and when I bought the house, I have the vents that suck radon out from underneath my house apparently. Doing a little research after I bought the house, it's apparently the number 2 cause of lung cancer in the country behind cigarettes. So I'm like, cool. But again, I don't have kids or a dog or anything, so I'm not too worried about it. But again, I think possibly somebody looking to buy a house with radon gas and septic instead of sewers, a couple not cools. I don't have a sump pump, so apparently I'm on bedrock, so I can't have one, but my basement does get wet every time it rains hard, and I've become quite good at shop vacuuming and fan and keeping my basement clean and dry as much as I can. Just other things about the property, we don't have Greenlight, and we don't have an option to get Greenlight high-speed internet, even though they have it across the road, and they have it all around us because there's just a few of us houses on that side of Atlantic. I have renters right next door to me. The house next to me, as you saw in the review, sold a couple of years ago for $159,900, and that's a 5-bedroom, 2,500 square foot, which they just flipped it into a rental property, which, I mean, the neighbors are cool, but it's still rental, you know. They don't mow the lawn, and they don't upkeep the house whatsoever. But what else? Just things in my house. I have old trees out back, which are great, but they are absolutely going to have to come down here in probably 10 years or less. Just they're getting old, and, you know, every time a windstorm comes, I've got some big branches I have to chop up with a chainsaw. But what else can I tell you? Other than that, I have a abandoned house on the corner of 5 Mile and Atlantic, which is a few doors down from me. Houses next to me and around me, you have all the examples. I don't know, Kevin, if you want me to go into that or not, but...
no, we've got that information. Yep.
I'm not going to repeat all that because you can see all that. But, yeah, the biggest thing is this is an older Dolomite house. I did pay over market at the time. Markets are hot, but I have no intention of moving or selling. But I think if ever the day came, being on septic, being on radon gas under my house, causing lung cancer, things like it's not as desirable as 198.4 or whatever it is. But and that's just my opinion. And just looking at what other houses that don't deal with this stuff are selling for, I think it's fair to what I paid for it. I feel it's fair, but again, I've never done this before, and I just thought, it's worth a shot. You never know. So, what else can I tell you that I have stood out?
You got a lot of good stuff.
No, just, when the Dolomite blast a couple times, at 9 a.m. and 11 or something, obviously it shakes the whole house. You know, I mean, I'm used to it, but if you have young kids or a dog that would freak out, again, might not be a reason you want to buy my house. You know, it does, depending where the blasting, sometimes there's dust and stuff, but again, I'm never home anyways, but to somebody buying the property would be a detrimental, I think. It'd be harder to sell it with some of these issues I've listed. So,
okay. Yeah, I think we understand.
What's that?
I said I think we definitely get the picture. I understand kind of where you're coming from. So.
I don't know if I'm talking too much. I don't even know how one of these things goes. I'm just
no, that's all right.
Real quick. So.
Yeah, no, I think we probably have everything we need. I think the information you gave was great, and obviously the additional color you can give in person is really helpful. So what we do is we'll go through, take this information, deliberate, make our decision, get back to the town, and then the town reaches back out to you in a couple of weeks with a letter.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you taking this time today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your time, and you have a great day.
You too now. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.